Hi, everybody. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. We've got price predictions from SL369 Crypto and Jill Jardine. So stick with us, give us a like, and we'll be right back with some great stuff. Welcome back to everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate all your support. And SL, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you getting us together and bringing Jill into our life. Thanks for coordinating this, and thanks for getting all the questions from your loyal listeners.
Welcome. I'm really excited today. My member has been looking forward for this show for maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, they're very excited to have Jill back.
Definitely. And Jill, thanks so much for coming on the show and getting all this information for us. I know you've been looking at charts and studying the coins and putting a lot of energy into this. So we really appreciate you coming on and joining us for this.
Well, thank you for inviting me back, SL and Lisa. And yes, we were going to do it earlier, but it's been a kind of crazy ride since the past couple of weeks due to the Lionsgate. And then now here we are with Fallout, a lot of interesting things going on with the Fallout. And we're also 2 months plus out from the eclipse cycle. So we're seeing all kinds of manifestations and all kinds of crazy things happening. And we are in that cycle that I predicted when the rally of Bitcoin and crypto is going to start showing up. And you guys can fill me in on that because, as you know, I like to go in cold without really knowing. And then when the astrological predictions become accurate, you guys confirm it for me. So thank you for inviting me on again.
Yeah, we'd love to have you here.
Absolutely.
And I want to let your listeners know, too, Lisa and SL, if they missed the podcast that was on Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, Part 1, Cryptocurrency 101, with special guest SL369, Crypto Prophet. Please check it out on any major, there we go, Buzzsprout, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much all major platforms is carrying it, but it's the most recent episode. SL enlightened us all about crypto and how she got into it. Great stories, great energy. And we have a big announcement. Lisa, Litecoin Lisa, is going to be on part 2, Cryptocurrency 102, being released on Saturday, the 14th of August. So you're going to, within a couple days, you're going to have both parts. And they both are amazing with great information. So make sure you all subscribe, download, share. Lots of great information in part 1 and part 2.
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, so you can find, I put the link in the chat just now, but you can also find this link to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine in the description below this video. So you guys can find that, as well as links to Jill's astrology website where you can get readings with her and other information, other ways to connect with her other resources, and also links to SL's Patreon channel. So let's see here. Where should we jump into? SL, where do you want to take us from here?
Yeah, so Jill, a lot of people has been wondering about this month corrections. So right now it's August. The market has, today the market down a little bit, 4 or 5%. So I think the last time that we spoke, you said that in August we have a correction, I think between August 13 and August 13.
We're in this very interesting window now where the crypto will correct itself. And I think it starts, what I've been getting most recently, I got a lot of information around the Lionsgate 8.8. I was in process, like pretty much the week before and for a couple days after, that it was going to start slow, but then it's almost like it's going to gain speed, like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's going to gain speed. And so the banner time would be in September and October. But we're going to see some pickup. We're going to see that after, dipping and drifting down, slowly coming back. So SL, is that correct? Has there been any rally so far that you've seen? I mean, it's only the 12th, so we're kind of right on the edge of this.
Yeah, so in a few days ago, we have a rally for about 2 or 3 days for August, which you said that, around August 8th, we have a rally. So we have a rally, I think, on either August 6th or 7th. Yes. And then today, it's sort of like cool off. It's have a little corrections. And I think the last time that we spoke, based on astrology, you said that August 13 until August 19, we have a pullback or correction for the market. Yeah. Is that still true?
Yeah, I think it is, because the big like all guns on is going to be on the 22nd. So and always before a full moon, it gets a little bit dicey, and it looks bad before it gets better. So
that's what I have written down in the notes. I pulled up the notes from our last time we spoke, and you had down first, but then August 22nd, it kicks off again. And that was kind of that blast up through November was kind of the notes that I had taken.
I mean, every month, and I think you guys might remember, I said there's something about the 19th of every month, not August. August, we won't see much of a rally, but September, October, and then the D date is around November 19th at that lunar eclipse, which I think could really turn things around and start, maybe unraveling some of these profits and gains that will be showing up. So as I've told a lot of SL's followers on Patreon who have had private readings, and I suggest this to all the listeners today, is that it's really, really important to use, I can give you guys this information, but as we've talked about crypto before, it really is a vibrational modality or a vibrational energetic to it, investment. And it's almost like people need to really, really fine tune their intuition to know when it's for them personally, because people all have different portfolios, when they should, invest and when to pull out. Obviously, with the correction and the prices being lower, this has been a really good time for investment. But when we start seeing things rise, then you're really going to have to gauge, okay, is it going to be the 23rd of October? Is it going to be the 29th? Is it going to be that new moon in November, which I believe is the 9th? Is it going to be right up until that lunar eclipse? But again, as I said, when we're in a full moon window, 3 days before, so that would be 16th, 17th, 18th of November, is going to be kind of a dicey time. Like, it will be up and down, and then 19th, 20th, 21st in November, we're going to start seeing things maybe starting to topple a little bit. I don't think it's going to be, you've asked me, there's a question somebody had asked, is it going to be a fast, is it going to be a fast fall? And I'm thinking there will be definitely after going up, there will be a down cycle. And then there may be in a bit of a holding, Sagittarius, when the sun goes into Sag, which is after the 21st in November, we may see some level of stabilization, but I think it's only short term, because I think we're going to be having all the major players going direct by December 6th. I believe, which means all the outer planets, and they affect what happens for the collective, including financial markets. In fact, excuse me, I got to ask my assistant, can you please get me that calendar there off the wall? Thank you. So I just am going to give people those important dates of planets going direct, which initially them going direct is going to be very good for the rallying. So we've got, hold on. We got to put up with these astrologers, have to consult all our ancient books that come from, the ancient Egyptian astrology, basically. But, astrology never lets us down. That's the whole thing. I'm an intuitive as well as an astrologer, so the combination is good. But a lot of people I know who are pure astrologers, you can see that I'm melting here in my 90-degree place where the air conditioner broke. So some
and
rallies.
we all showed up in black
Yeah,
without
we showed up in
consulting each
black
other. Yeah, and we never wear black.
And I may have to put a fan on to really get some air circulation going so that I don't melt before your very eyes. But so here's some important dates. We're going to have on October, Saturn goes direct October 11th. I'm kind of talking East Coast time. So we'll still be in EST by then. So Eastern Standard Time, it's on the 10th, the 11th, and in your time zone, it may be the day after or the day before. But this is kind of a marker day when Saturn goes direct, because that's going to give us a better picture of the future trajectory. Excuse me one second. Could you please put the fan on? Right, I gotta ask my assistant. It's the bottom piece there. So if you can, thanks. All right, so now we're gonna have a windblown look, but I think it's worth it for relaying this important information. Okay, so everybody should know that on the 10th, 11th, 12th of October, there will be some kind of big situation. It may even be some kind of announcement that affects crypto, which I have been predicting all along. And then we have another big shift coming when Pluto goes direct a little earlier. Okay, so we're looking at between the 6th and 12th of October, some kind of big shifts. And I believe that's going to be a bit of a rally, actually. You know, we might see where initially the rising might be like not as drastic as people would like to see, but then we're going to see quite a shift when we have Pluto. Pluto is death and rebirths. So I believe it will be the rebirth of crypto after a bit of a death here since May. So, and it's, guess what? 6 months, 6 month cycles are always important in astrology. It's not really, there's no eclipse going on in October, but the 6th, the 12th, and then let's go forward to December, the December date, which might be interesting after is Neptune goes direct on the 2nd. So that could be Neptune direct is like, okay, what's the reality and what's the illusion? So, and I feel like there's going to be something really weird with, you never know until it's not over until the fat lady sings kind of thing. It's going to be very, this is where Spirit has been telling me to tell people, you can follow SL, you can follow Lisa, you can follow my astrological predictions. But personally, and this is how the energy is right now, it's becoming very like separate. It's not necessary. You can align with the mass consciousness, but maybe at this time you don't want to, or you align with your own higher self. And if you're plugged in and tuned in, you're going to get really good information at this time. So, okay, I'm talking a lot. Next question.
So, Jill, actually, can we go back to August, like this month again? So, so right now we will have like this month we have correction August 13 to 19. Do you see that is a big correction or a small one?
Not a big one. Medium to small. I mean, it's almost like this is what I feel. This is okay. This is the other thing, people. I mean, I keep going on about the Lionsgate, but the Lionsgate was like a separating of realities. Okay. So, and it also has a lot of relevance to agendas, okay, that are being superimposed upon the collective. So it's like, did you pick which side you want to be on, or not? It's not about polarity, so that's the wrong phrase. But it's really about some kind of old stuff dying. Some old energies are dying, and the rebirth is happening right now. And so, of course, it's almost like there may be some last gasps of breath of this death going on before something. And then the rebirth. We're going to be in the rebirth portion at the end of August. And so interesting, just as it's a metaphor, but it's reality, because every single day people contact me and they're like, Jill, is there something going on, or are a lot of people dying right now? And this is independent of any, diseases out there, in addition to whatever else is out there. Just people who are dying, who are either suddenly, who people didn't even know were sick, or just they've had chronic stuff and it's finally caught up. And, and then you add the other situations in. But this is, a lot of people are choosing after the Lion's Gate, because it is a portal time, to leave their bodies because they're not, whatever, their body isn't ready to go to the next increased vibratory stage. So they can help us from the other side, or they can go forward in whatever their life trajectory is, their soul trajectory, that their life ends and they go on. So let's use that metaphor for what's happening with crypto. That's kind of why I'm mentioning. It's like, okay, it ended one cycle and it's rebirthing in this cycle where it's now really being accepted. And I love that word that you use, assimilation, right, Lisa? There's an assimilation into
Absolutely.
the collective that's unprecedented. And that's only going to get more and more people. Like our podcast has informed a lot of people, perhaps, who didn't know anything about, they've heard it, but they didn't have a clue what really is crypto or Bitcoin. So there's a public awareness now that's unprecedented about crypto. So in a way, it was kind of like a secret cult that you guys all followed, but it's becoming
more
a little
mainstream. Yeah.
Not maybe as much, but that doesn't mean that the cult, the crypto cult, isn't going to do really well because of the fact they were ahead of the curve, okay? And the curve is about to start rising up again.
Interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you regarding August. We will have a smaller correction rather than a big pullback. Yeah, my spirit guide told me 39,000. Right now we at 44,000, and I don't see that we'll go down to like the 20,000 and 28,000, all that stuff. That there was a lot of rumors. Also, I got some predictions in last month. They threw me a lot of numbers, like 25, 27K. It didn't come to pass. I think BTC went down to like 29K-ish. So I agree with you regarding August. So do you see there is a correction in September based on astrology?
If there is, it's a smaller one. Like it's almost like I feel like it's going to be. There's not like, I think the big rise comes more in that time period. I told you when we start having planets going direct. Come in. Sorry. You know what? Somebody's here to fix my air conditioning. I'm going to have to pop off, SL.
Yeah. It's okay. That's all right.
Should we pause the video live?
I can't pause it. I can edit it later.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take her out for now, and then I can edit it later. I can't pause it live.
Oh, okay.
But
all right,
we can keep going for our people that are joining us in the chat and talk about a little bit about what she had talked about previously. I think it's interesting that she's talking about a lot of people leaving the earth plane right now, because if you look at, a lot of the boomers, I mean, it makes sense that they would, because they were, the greatest generation and just their age, that there would be a lot of people that age.
Yeah, but also because of this, what has been going on for the past 2 years, some of the people die for whatever reasons, but also I think it's within the contract they agree to leave at this time. So they agreed to leave.
Part of the soul contract.
Yeah.
For this time. Interesting. I was trying to think of what else she had said previously about August. She did say that down first, but then August 22nd was kind of that kickoff for the future.
She said a rebirth at the end of August. So I think she meant the market will sort of like go up. That part is not clear, which I want to ask Jill Owen.
And that's that through August or September that she was seeing. Is that what you were thinking?
She didn't mention September in today's show yet, but she said that rebirth at the end of August.
Okay, here she is.
It looks like I have a temporary air conditioner for the night, which
yay!
is a good thing. Yeah, so let's get back on track with those questions you guys were asking me.
Oh yeah, so you said September are going to be small correction.
Yeah, September is going to be very interesting. There's a new moon right on Labor Day, interestingly enough. new moon in Virgo, okay, which I think, yeah, that's not really going to do much. But then as we get close to the equinox and the full moon, which is the week of, like, there's something around the 16th and 17th of September that looks like a really nice rally. And then right after that, the full moon's on the 20th, but the equinox is on the 22nd. And then we get into a very exciting cycle from the 22nd.
Yeah, come back up.
Okay, thank you. From the 22nd through about the end of the month. But I also have to let people know in that time period, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 27th. Now, Mercury retrograde is not bad for things that are energetically affected. So it's almost like it makes up for lost time. So I actually think the Mercury retrograde is going to be pretty good for crypto because it got really thwarted during the previous Mercury retrograde in June. So I believe this Mercury retrograde, which goes from the 27th through, it's going to be interesting because I almost feel it's like, okay, let's make up. Mercury retrograde's bad for things like contract signing and buying cars and houses and any big commitments. But this Mercury retrograde should be pretty interesting because it's in the sign Libra. Okay, it's going to be retrograde in the sign Libra. Libra is the scales, right? Balancing. So it's about finding its balance again after being out of balance. So I think that's Mercury does pretty well in air signs as well because it's ruled by Gemini. So it's all about finding a critical, it's going to be, again, up and down, but I think it's going to be increasingly going up and down, but there is a balancing act too. So it's like up and down, but it's incrementally getting better and better. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I agree with that.
And that Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap because it's like, oh, everything's delayed. Yeah, it's not necessarily the best time to, travel. It's not the best time to set up meetings for anything important. It's not the best time to go on a job interview. It's not a best time to sign contracts of any type. It's excellent for any internal or spiritual work because for your meditators or, prayer people out there, it's a time when you get real clarity on, okay, I should be doing this meditation, this prayer, this inner practice. And actually for channeling guides, SL, you might get blown away by what comes forth for you during that cycle.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
One of my members asked me to ask you to clarify November 19, 2021. Is that the day that when the market go down or up or the peak? I forgot.
Well, I like to call it D-Day. So what does that mean? That means that after that date, if there has been a climb, which there will be, I'm pretty, and actually this is a very interesting date, November 4th. So that's the 2 weeks before, that's the new moon. I feel like that's like, oh boy, this could be the big boon time, November 4th. And from that point on, it may start going down, okay? And I just want to remind people, this is all astrologically based, but we've been having a pretty good track record with the astrology because, again, crypto has a consciousness. Astrology dictates the consciousness of energy. So you put the two together and you can follow. And by the way, it's also cyclical. Life is cyclical. So I think by that lunar eclipse, there's not like anything necessarily could happen on that day, but I think it's more of a marker date that if things start things may start tumbling after that. So I don't want people to be surprised or taken by shock. It's like you're having a heads up. You're having plenty of warning here.
But did you say that things could start tumbling as early as November 4th?
No, I think November 4th is a big boon. Like November 4th, and then maybe it'll be around a holding pattern. There won't be much. November 4th is going to be like, wow, I don't know if that's like the capping off time, but okay. November 4th is a really powerful date.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
November 4th is a very powerful date because it is, especially, okay, let's qualify it too, like astrologically, great for Scorpios, great for any of the water signs, okay? Cancer, Pisces, if you guys have, or if you know your chart enough and you have a lot of water in your chart, it's going to be a pretty lucky time for you guys. All right. You know, not that the other ones are going to have an unlucky time, but I think it's, you know, it's a water new moon. It's in Scorpio, and it's also good for, Scorpio is like, there's a level of money that you get that's outside of your day-to-day job. So of course, investments fall in that category. And where I can't say what's going to happen with the regular markets, but with the crypto, I think that people are going to be, the general public who doesn't know how this cycles around, might be like blown out of their mind. So what they'll be thinking is like, oh, good, it's time to get in it. It's really high, but it's going to go higher. And as you crypto aficionados know, it's like, hey, this might be the peaking out time. We got to, you know, exit stage right. Take our winnings with us. So that's where it's going to be kind of interesting, because you're going to have the, you know, the newly awakened to crypto general public who really don't have a clue. Maybe they do their research about it, but they're just going to be all gung-ho. It's only going higher and higher. Oh my God, I found a new way. Where your listeners are like, oh, okay, we're really wary of how this works, because when we didn't get out in time and take our winnings, we're going to be very vigilant in keeping tabs of it. And I mean, SL, I think you can speak better to like numbers, because I don't really talk to the like numbers and things that different coins are going to reach. But I think if there's projections of like, here's the high 40 or whatever, that's around a time when I think some of these coins will reach their projected highs, to be quite honest. I'm talking about the 4th, 5th, 6th of November.
Yeah, so I know that this year we could get back to $65,000. Right now it's about 44,000 to 65,000, and then they also told me the 86,000, the 90, 100,000. So in terms of like what day or what month those price will hit, that is part of like $1 million questions.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. I really like the way the end of October looks, right? Because that's when we go into the Scorpio equinox, you know, and I like the way that the end of October looks for gains, okay? After that full moon on the 20th. And again, I kind of like the, you know, 19th, 20th, 20th, you know, that whole time, last 19th to the end of October. Let's pinpoint a specific date that could be really good. I don't know. Mercury does go direct on the 18th of October too. So this Mercury direct, Jupiter goes direct on the 18th of October. I missed sharing all that. So October is a pivotal month because we've got Pluto direct on the 6th. Then we've got Saturn direct on the 10th. And we've got Jupiter direct and Mercury direct on the 18th. So that's like so that's where I think it's like all systems go. We're out of first gear. Everybody's out of reverse. And so there's a real charge forward through that new moon. And there's going to be like, you know, the current of the new moon will carry forth for probably about another week or so. Definitely to 11/11, 11/12, but then it's going to be a little bit dicey. And that's where it's like, sussing out what exactly is that peak day. And then it's like, you know, clear, you know, out. So I would have people be really tuned in to what's going on at the end of October, because I feel like, okay, we're starting to, you know, all systems go, all the planets are now direct that have been retrograde, especially those outer ones who have been retrograde for a long time, for 6 months. And then we throw into it a Scorpio money new moon. And we're throwing all this other, you know, collective stuff that I think is going to be brewing. There's going to be a lot of collective, you know, and again, it comes in, I can't tell, you know, like I can speak to the US. So I feel I have seen that there was going to be almost like a move to like restrict everybody by November, December, and January. And by November, I was like, oh, certainly right around the eclipse. But now it's that is coming earlier, which again is like, whoa, it's not even, you know, it's not even going by what cyclically would make sense, which, you know, why is that? Everybody, you know, we all have our theories and we all know our own truth around everything. So Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting time because Scorpio also in astrology, for those who may not be astrologers, it's the dark underbelly. It's the revealer of secrets. Scorpio lets you know like what's been going on behind the scenes, and there's revelations. Okay. And that's why I think there's going to be this new moon is like what I was saying back in November of 2019, an airborne bomb is going to go off. This energy of like some kind of bomb, maybe it's a truth bomb, but there's going to be like a bomb energy that for the uninformed, it could put them into like unfortunately, a shock situation. For the informed, it's like, oh, okay, we knew this was coming, and we knew it's, it's a play, it's a power grab, a money grab, people will be alert to it. Do you understand? But there will be some hidden information coming to light, and it will be interesting to see the cover-ups that come with it, and it'll be interesting to see. And I almost feel like that might be what does affect the markets and may destabilize what has been a growth in crypto over the last couple months leading up to it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and traditionally that's been a time in our monetary system that's been very dicey.
Yeah, Black Monday, always in Scorpio. And so, again, it's like, okay, we've artificially propped up the economy for the last however long. Now, and you guys also, just on a logical note, here in the U.S., okay, so we're going to be like, funny enough, that November 4th, new moon, is and they're stopping the unemployment on the new moon in Virgo in September, right around Labor Day. So it's like, okay, 2 months out, people are going to, if they don't get another job, there's going to be a dicey economic situation. 2 months, going 2 months without something you became dependent on.
Yeah, that's going to be unfortunate events. So, Jill, earlier you said that there'll be some restriction. What kind of restrictions they're talking about in the U.S.?
What kind of restriction of what?
Earlier you said that there will be some restrictions.
You mean in November that I was picking up on?
Yes.
I'm talking movement restrictions. People's moving people. Oh, you want to fly there? Oh, just more attempts at restricting movement. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Awesome. That's I got it.
Thank you for being cautious.
Yes. So I really like that you mentioned about October, beginning of October there'll be a rally, and then about mid-October toward the end of October. And then
the more I'm feeling the energy as we're talking, and the more I'm looking at that, I mean, I think we alluded to it a little bit in previous shows, but the more I'm feeling it, I'm almost getting like this palpable, exciting energy about the end of October into early November, and that's that. Yeah, I know the astrology, but that's more of an intuitive, like, oh my gosh, this is exciting for the crypto investors, the end of October, early November. And yeah, with culmination around the 4th and 5th, not meaning that it goes away after that, but that could be, okay, we're climbing up and we're getting to the peak of the mountain here.
Then at the end of November into December, what do you see in terms of the chart? Is it going down?
Well, this is the problem with that. So we've got that lunar eclipse on the 19th, okay, which I feel there's some big thing collectively, societally, that is like a bomb. That's like people are like, oh my God. And it will have repercussions into all the economic systems, unfortunately. I hate putting this stuff out there, but I mean, it's good forewarned is forearmed, and you plan accordingly, right? I don't think it's like, and maybe bomb is a bit of a intense word to use, but it's definitely something. And again, not everybody will be shocked by it, but some will, that it's some kind of big, and revelation is the wrong word too, but it's a big like boom, and so that's eclipse number 1, the 19th. And then we have a solar eclipse on December 4th, which is, solars tend not to be malefic as much as lunars, but they do go in pairs, which means that, okay, we're starting a whole new cycle of eclipses. And that these ones are more it's going to be the last Sagittarius eclipse on the 4th. And now we're in Scorpio and Taurus, all about money, all about resources, all about financial systems for the next year going through 2022. So it's really it's a focusing. Things are changing a little bit, going from like more of political or international or national, or our country is doing this or our country is doing that, to like, oh boy, everybody's economy is taking a hit kind of thing. So what are we going to do about it? What's going to, and what could be the savior of an economic situation? Oh, maybe a decentralized global system of monetary currency, right? But there's going to be resistance to that. It's weird. And actually, you guys, I have to go talk to the maintenance guy about one thing. Sorry about this, everybody. Sorry, I'll be right back.
No problem.
Bless her heart.
Yes.
She's like in the middle of a heat wave in August and trying to get us information.
Yeah, I think today where she is like 97 degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it's hot here too.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Oklahoma and it's been miserable. I think everybody's kind of going through that.
Yes.
So she's talked about, I know we had talked about some of this, and some of the other psychics, what they're seeing is like a pullback somewhere in December, and this run up in November. Cliff High's data was seeing people having the same year that there were the $100,000 Bitcoin parties, that silver would go to $600 an ounce. And I had Chris Marcus on my show yesterday, and the silver is in the tank right now. They're definitely suppressing the price of silver like crazy. And so that's been really interesting. Jill, I was just talking about, I don't know if you get any readings or any information about silver, but I just had Chris Marcus on my show yesterday, and they're suppressing the price of silver like crazy. And he's really seeing all this pressure around that, and thinking that this thing's going to blow any minute. I didn't know if you get any
that's the kind of energy I'm talking about. Like it's like these things that have been maybe artificially pumped up. And again, sorry you guys, my hair, I have two portable air conditioning units going, and then I got 2 fans going. So it's
got the Beyonce hair going today for us.
Trying to cool down the 90-degree heat. Anyway, so yeah, that's exactly the kind of energetic that we're dealing with. I'm glad you guys are talking about that. And the other thing is that I need, just on a human level, for everybody to go out of the crypto, but it relates to it. So after this Lionsgate, I've noticed, and other healer and reader and psychic friends and astrologers. So this, because I want to put people at ease about this little pattern, because it's kind of what I'm dealing with now is an example of it. So we're gonna, whatever you need to, like, you're gonna be tested, okay? People are gonna be tested about stuff, either coming in from other people or situations. And what you need to do, instead of freaking out about it, especially if it was a trigger for you in the past, like another person triggering you, or a fear of your money, especially with this group, worrying about, oh my God, I can't lose any more, or oh my God, when is this going to wrap? Try to be very the word I want to say is equanimity, foster equanimity, and just handle whatever shows up. Just handle, instead of freaking out and like letting your mind extend to like, oh my God, and if this happens, then this will happen, then this will happen. We're all being required right now, because we made it, I believe everybody who's here listening to this, we made it through what's called the Lionsgate portal. But the work is to be, you're going to be tested about to see if you're still triggered, And what is the Lionsgate portal? Being confined by 3-dimensional consciousness, or limited by what you watch on TV, or what other people tell you, or what, people's fear points are, or like, I have to wear this mask, or I'm going to catch an airborne virus that's not really, whatever they think about it, right?
I can tell you, I have been facing that hardcore in my life, real time. They put a COVID walk-in testing clinic in my son's elementary school.
Oh my God. This is exactly what people are dealing with. It's hitting home right now.
I feel, and then my channel had some weird glitch, and I told my husband, I was like, I feel like I'm being attacked. And it's these things that I would be triggered about like my child's safety, these attacks, and you saying like, don't freak out, don't just make a decision, handle it.
Yes.
I went through all the steps. I fought it the way that I needed to, went through the school board, went through the superintendent, had to make a decision to pull him out of school. We're looking at filing a lawsuit, but we're looking at alternative homeschooling and different options for him. And, but it's like, we really are at that point, whether it's about our financial system, our health decisions, personal safety, wealth, whatever. It's like, have those boundaries in your life, make those decisions. Don't let somebody pull you into some emotional turmoil or conflict that they can manipulate you. Make your decisions, know who you are, stand your ground, and walk on and have your life.
Right on, Lisa. That's the energetic that's going on, right? So, and I don't want to say you definitely will be triggered, but chances are if you're watching this, you're, making some choices to shift your consciousness to the new paradigm of crypto and whatever, and all that goes along with that, which is a whole level of consciousness. So what I've noticed, and you're about the 15th person since Sunday who has had something hit them. It's like trying to hit you at home, but it's not like anything or any person. It's almost like testing you to make sure you don't emotionally go crazy or get triggered or fall into like, oh no. But exactly what you said, Lisa, take care of it. Like, it's almost like I keep quoting that old show called Dragnet, which is actually before my time too, but there was a great quote, just the facts. Just deal with the facts. Okay, they're putting this into his school. Do we want him there? No. What's the fact? The fact is that he can't go there because it's risky and we don't know. We can't trust that they're not going to slap this into this, you can't trust like that something may not be protected in that situation against something.
What are our options? Make your choice, move along. Yeah. Right.
So that's very important. So let's relate this back to the crypto. So you're like, oh, Jill told us it's going to start rallying in August. It's mid-August and we're not seeing. But what I'm saying to people is like, it will, because certain things. And if you align with that positivity and that possibility, again, energy creates reality. So do we want to put it into the fear and the worry and the anxiety of like, oh no, this is going to tumble, or like, wait, this is what I want my future to be. I do see crypto financing that sustainable farm or that like-minded community or buying me the properties I want. That is my reality and I'm aligned to it, and I'm not being delusional because crypto has come through in the past. So this is my future now. This is what I am choosing to align with and create for myself. And I got to tell you, that's more important than any of our predictions and it's good to know from experts, like what does it look like with these systems of prediction, but you have a lot more power than you realize. And this has been the whole thing. It's it's our own sovereignty in all areas, our financial sovereignty, our health sovereignty, our sovereignty to like live the life that we deserve to live or that we can live. Like, you're equipped to live it and you actually have the ability to do it. That cannot be taken away from you. The only one who can take it away from you is yourself. If you don't align, others or situations may try to look like they are, but that's, again, it's like, okay, I'm not falling into that trap. I'm not going, you're sending me this notice or, something legal, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's not my reality. And I'm going to see what I can do to like stop it in its tracks. That's
it's a big bluff. Uncle Cliff was talking about that on Greg Hunter today. If you guys haven't watched the Cliff High video on USA Watchdog, go watch that. In his predictive linguistic data, he says, they're doing all this. They're doing this bluff to try to get, the weak hands, the normies that will cave because we said, we're going to force this and that on you. And they go, well, they told me to do it, so I did it, but they can't,
Well, when we look at what goes on anytime there's a guy called Tim Wilde that he's excellent. He's a Brit and he has posts on Fridays and Mondays, but he kind of hit the nail on the head in his most recent YouTube. And he said that, there have been law, and he channels the archangels, and he brings down the councils, and he's just tapped in. I mean, I used to do all that stuff 20 years ago or so. So that's very powerful stuff. And I'm glad it's finally now being accepted. But he basically said, bottom line, there's been a law of non-interference has been stepped over. And, especially when it comes to, and Lisa, this is close to your heart, when it comes to children, the innocence. When you start trying to implicate innocence in situations and make them complicit when they're on a soul level, it's really up to 16 before they can make decisions or be implicated in things. Then you're crossing boundaries with cosmic law or cosmic law. Something called the law of non-interference has been broken by certain groups on the planet these days. And there's repercussion for that, and this isn't religious. This is just cause and effect. It's called karma. You do something, you step over a boundary, you violate a boundary that's set up cosmically. There's going to be some repercussion, and that's just how it goes.
Absolutely. So, well, I could talk to you about this stuff all day long, but we're getting some pushback in the in the chat. They want to hear more about crypto. So, let's see.
Jill, I think this is very interesting. We can talk all day about what's going on in our reality. However, I'm really curious about
Ethereum.
Oh, wait. I'm really curious about how the crypto market will perform in 2022 and 2023. I don't know if you have looked.
Okay. So it's interesting because what I got into 2022, that it's still going to be a little dicey in January and February, but Jupiter will start activating with other planets. March, April, maybe into May, it's another high cycle, and then there's the thing about, that's factoring in, and maybe this current situation of adopting crypto into the infrastructure bill is a bit of a smokescreen, but I do feel it's an energetic precursor to crypto being accepted by, and I've said this before, crypto being accepted by governments or government agencies or businesses, big businesses, or other, really being, big time assimilated, or really being
adopted,
legitimized as we're going to use this currency and we're moving towards a crypto only. We're going to see more of that starting next year. Okay. So that's going to affect going into 2023. And that might bring it out of what's been a pattern of the, up kind of high in late spring and then down until, late fall up. Because I think that there might be some more of that into 2022. 2023, I haven't really sussed out far enough, but my understanding from some elders is that it may be dicey in ways that oh boy, if it wasn't, this wasn't enough, let's just add this to it, meaning that there will be some more situations with Mother Earth reacting, and maybe, if the storms aren't bad enough, or if the fires aren't bad enough, we might throw some earthquakes and tsunamis into the mix. Again, that's not what I see for our reality, but I mean, it's whatever it takes to wake up humanity. And instead of looking at this as oh no, it's no, let's wake up, because some things haven't been done right over the, since Atlantis, right? So it's time for people to actually wake up. Oh, you guys, the charts that I want to read are flying all over. I'm going to grab them.
She's got some help with all those fans and the wind.
Yes.
Yeah. So the energies, as you can see, you have to go with the flow, and that we're going to see some rallies at the end of the month. I'm excited about this full moon, you guys, on the 22nd. I think it's really going to show people that, oh my God, I'm glad I made that decision, or I'm so glad that, that I listened to my psychics and my own intuition. I'm so glad that I invested more in that coin, and then in September, they're going to get validation again. And then in October, it's whoa, I really am ahead of the curve. And this stuff is playing out now. Okay, so does that answer your question? 2023, it's still a little far out, but I feel like, you know what? It's all really based on like the intensity of what happens is in my experience and in my tradition and in my experience. It's based on the level of what we're going to have externally as a collective or individually is based on the amount of awakening that's done collectively or individually. So we actually do have power in that, but not the kind of power that, you know, is out in the world now. It's weird. It's like we're seeing a waning of an old order as a new order of planetary reality comes in.
Exciting stuff.
So regarding the crypto market,
individual coins.
I think it responds to how awakening happens among individuals and certain groups, like the people who invest in crypto. So you guys, I think one of the important things is this sense of community that people like SL and like Coin Lisa have fostered among these like-minded crypto, because that is the Aquarian age, unity and consciousness. It's no longer about the power elite, and it's, you know, individuals united. You know, the plan has been to divide and conquer. Now it's like unify and blossom, unify and prosper, okay, with like-minded people. And I'm seeing more and more of that happening. People just meeting others who's like, oh my gosh, that's how I think about the world, or oh my. And I say, use that, you guys, that you're a resource for each other. And that's why these communities like SLs are so powerful in changing, making change, and even shifting the market. Because it's like, hey, let's invest in Litecoin on this day. You guys are going to affect the market, right? You don't realize that it's not, you guys can affect outcomes more than you realize. I don't know where that came from. That was just a download. So
that's absolutely what that whole Wall Street Bets group was doing, and how they were, working together to really change that whole paradigm of the retail investor versus,
it's exciting. We're in exciting times, and try not to go into a doom and gloom outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
A doom and gloom. Excuse me. Could you grab me that chart that just flew on the floor? My assistant came back, thank goodness. Anyway, so I think we were kind of segueing into the time when we might want to read some of the charts for the coins.
Yes. So Ethereum has been doing really well. I'm just curious, what does the chart say?
I like this. This was the first time I looked at it actually today, and I'm like, whoa, Ethereum, here we go. That's why it's Ethereum. So really exciting. It's a Leo coin, which is very different from what we were talking about all the Aquarian coins. But why is it going to get a big boost? Why is it going to be like really going to the next level? Because its moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn rules business. Capricorn is stable. It has to do a moon in Capricorn. You know, somebody with a moon in Capricorn, they're going to work hard and they're going to make money, as is a crypto with a moon in Capricorn. And if that wasn't enough, the planet Pluto has been working on it. It's been sitting on the moon of Ethereum, and that's what's creating the power. And that's why it's having like this big surge, okay? It's the Pluto's moving retrograde. So what was that date I told you when it's going direct? That's going to bring quite a response for Ethereum. It's that date in October. I believe it's the 6th. Let's see, October. So Pluto is very much affecting Ethereum right now on the 6th of October. Pluto goes direct. That's when you want to like be, okay, here we go, Ethereum. It's time for, and there's the chart, right? So there's been some peaks, some downs, but I really think that October cycle from the 6th on is going to do right by Ethereum. Pluto is going to be direct on its moon. So in a person's chart, if Pluto went direct on your moon, it's like, I got all this money in Capricorn. Oh my God, I just made a bunch of money. I can buy that property. Oh, and I can buy that second property. That's what we're talking about.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, but right now, it's not even peaking, the Ethereum, because of, we've had the Aquarius. I mean, Saturn is opposing its sun. So that's why we have to, it's not going to be like really as much now August, September, it's really going to have to be in that after that 6th of October in the second half, when Saturn kind of, it will still be opposing, but it'll be retrograde and getting ready. Oh wait, it's going to move forward. Saturn's moving forward too on the 10th. So that's going to help release the sun of Ethereum. The sun of Ethereum, S-O-N, not S-U-N, not S-O-N, Son of Ethereum. That sounds like a good band, Son of Ethereum.
It does. That was exciting stuff. Let's see. What were some of the other ones that they wanted to do?
Okay, who else do you want me to check out? SL.
Yeah, I agree with you that Ethereum will do really well this year. So my spirit guide told me that Ethereum will, I don't know when it will come to pass, but they told me like 3,999, and then they also told me 6,000 and some dollars.
I mean, I think whatever you're seeing, like regarding, toward the higher end, is probably going to manifest
This year?
Not this year, but you're going to see a big rally this year.
Yeah. So Ethereum like is crazily, nothing can hold back for the past few days. I mean, it runs so quickly. It's like it went. I think like has grown about maybe $1,000 over a couple of less than a month. So, based on astrology, do you see when it would slow down?
Ethereum?
Yes.
Well, yeah. When Saturn gets into direct opposition of the natal sun. Let's see. Saturn, I just got to track Saturn opposing its natal sun. So that would be, yeah, I mean, the October thing, it's not, yeah, it's like that second about half of October, but then it really, really won't. It's next year when it gets really, really powerful. I feel like there's almost going to be some major gain, but not the maximum for Ethereum.
For next year or this year?
Next year. There's going to be quite a gain this year, but it's like, okay, Pluto's still sitting on my natal moon in 2022, so there's going to be continued gains for it.
Big gain in 2022?
Yeah.
Huge?
For big gains? Yeah.
Yes.
Again, I think it's more in the spring of 2022.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But there's still, it's going to, despite Saturn opposing its natal sun, the Pluto on the moon, I think, is for financial reasons, is much better. I don't know. Would they have some kind of, what is it that Ethereum could acquire? Because Pluto over a moon is like an acquisition placement.
They have been pretty independent. So Ethereum is similar to like Apple, where developer can develop app on their platform. So Ethereum have that kind of software and blockchain technology where developer can just build like games or any kind of blockchain project on top of the platform. They make it that easy.
SL
Yeah.
is that?
So they're going to, well, that's the word that comes to mind, and just energetically, they're going to acquire something. Their acquisition. I don't want to use the word acquire. Acquisition. Ethereum's going to have some kind of acquisition, which is going to boost its desirability. Do you understand?
Would it be a partnership, Jill? I mean, what I'm thinking is, SL, would that be in timing with what Matic is doing? For Ethereum?
It could be. So Ethereum right now to process transactions is pretty slow. I don't know how many. I forgot how many minutes. For example, 10 minutes. Also, so.
And it makes the fees really high.
Yes.
And Matic is solving that problem. And I don't have it right in front of me, but I'm trying to remember when we were talking about Matic and when we did some of the work about Matic. I don't have it right in front of me, but I was thinking that you guys were seeing good numbers and things for Matic in the spring. And I'm kind of thinking those two things collide.
Yeah.
So Matic solves that problem for Ethereum.
Yeah, Matic has
together. Are they going to come together? Are you saying Ethereum and Matic?
So Matic solves the problem for Ethereum of the high fees and the
scalability.
Yeah.
That's because I also get a very good feeling about Matic as well.
So when you were saying acquisition, I was like, well, that's like acquiring, and like when one company acquires another company, like in the old paradigm of business.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking when you were saying those things. That's just I don't know if that was making sense to you.
Like.
Yeah, that's very exciting to know about how Ethereum will perform next year, because everyone is waiting for the transaction fee from Ethereum to go down. So, for example, if we want to wire money from my bank to your bank, Joe, cost $30. Cost about $30 right now. But for Ethereum, the transaction fee has been outrageous. Like, go up to like $160, and the other day I saw on Twitter it costs like $3,000 for transactions to pay the fee.
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel that's almost like what I get when you tell me that. It's like they're trying to be the VIP club. Do you understand? And that actually, to a lot of people, makes it more desirable. And then I think they're going to move the fee away. But it's almost like, who really is wanting to invest in this? Who really wants to be part of this activity? Well, we're going to put some, almost looks like we're going to put some, hurdles that you have to jump to get to be here. I mean, so just this is all coming psychically as you're talking about this. It's like, okay, Ethereum, you can invest, but you have to pay all this transaction. But that's almost like, are you really vested in it, or you just playing around with crypto? Do you understand? I almost feel like it has to do. I don't know if you guys know that law of access. If something's easy to access, it's not as valuable. And if something is, you got to jump through some hoops to access, it actually makes it more desirable. And I almost feel like it's connected to that principle.
Very interesting.
Getting this all psychically, but I that's just feels like it, because Ethereum too. What's Ethereum? It's related to gold, right?
Isn't Ethereum is one of your favorite coin?
Yeah, it is. The vibration of it. The other one I really like is Polygon Matic.
Yes, I agree.
And I mean, then for my third, I kind of like Digibyte, because I was looking. I want to segue to their chart too, and I also I want to get everybody. This is not including Bitcoin. It's weird with Bitcoin. I'm like, Bitcoin, you're like taking over all of crypto energetically, and of course they ride that because they are the ones who everybody knows. But I think, like I've said this before, I think there's going to be other horses in a race that have better technology, better blockchain, better, faster, and this is how the world is: faster, easier to access, faster to process, and this Ethereum thing is probably going to work for them. This, let's put some hurdles and hoops for people, and then we'll remove them. But by then it's going to be harder for just anybody to access. Do you see? Because they will have moved the price up so much. But but some of the Bitcoin is interesting, because I feel like, again, I said this over and over again. It's like, oh, everybody wants to get a computer, so they're going to get an IBM personal computer, and then in the background, who's coming up? Going to be the people's computer. Going to be is Apple, And if you guys remember using an Apple, it was still a little bit. It wasn't as accessible unless you were working. I worked at Harvard, and they were all Apple because universities like that technology. And now, if you told somebody, oh yeah, Apple's going to be the real desirable mainstream, and they're going to have all this other technology. If you told somebody that in 1989, 99, 1990, 91, 92, they'd be like, oh, you're crazy. But look what happened, right? So that's why I always think Bitcoin, yeah, everybody, crypto, Bitcoin, synonymous. But, we haven't had this next phase in the crypto journey, which is actually what we're talking about here. That's the 2022, 2023 phase when we see a big shift.
Can't wait. Very excited about 2022. 2023 make me curious, but we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have to draw up some charts about 2023 and see where all the outer as an astrologer, it's like I can look ahead and everything, but I always like to be like, right now I'm really sussing out, here we are in August, I'm sussing out most of 2022 to see what, obviously personally, but collectively as well. And I really like the Jupiter and Pisces transit in early 2022. It's going to be an interesting, I see it really as people, Saturn's still in Aquarius, so the technology, Saturn going through Aquarius all through 2022 is really going to fuel crypto. But then with the Jupiter and Pisces, it's more about, okay, my lifestyle, this is where we're going to keep seeing all this diasporas of people moving all around. Because Jupiter and Pisces is like, hey, I want quality of life. Hey, I want to, be hooked up technologically and work from the ocean instead of, working in a city. So the Jupiter and Pisces, I like to call it a find your bliss placement, right? So you work the technology and then you actually find, and Jupiter and Pisces, like, I want to be able to sleep better at night. I want to be able to, it's going to bring it back to things like I want to feel good. And I want to feel connected. That's why, SL, you're kind of doing the Jupiter and Pisces, Saturn and Aquarius connection, because Pisces rules dream time, right? So it's like, I want to go into my dream time and get all the guidance I need. So everybody's going to be getting on board with the SL gig of like, I'm going to get my dreams are going to get, but that's a gift, as we know, and SL happens to have that gift. Not everybody can do it, but I'm a hypnotherapist and I have been since 1994, and I'm reactivating all my certifications in this particular form of hypnotherapy because I'm like, Jupiter and Pisces, altered states, working with the shaman. I mean, we're going to see all kinds of new things and kind of cool stuff to invest in regular. There's going to be a lot of interesting things coming up with Jupiter and Pisces, because Pisces is basically a spiritual sign. Also addictive, right? So, clean up all of the addictions, but then work with your guidance and your higher self, and people will be able to suss out like the crypto markets and, their own lives in a bigger way.
That's exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Jupiter has been in Aquarius, which busted wide open crypto and technologies. But guess what? We got to get back into our body now. We've got to get back into the full spiritual experience. I have another chart here if you guys want to talk about Reddcoin.
Yes, let's talk about Reddcoin.
Okay, so Reddcoin falls into I like the Aquarian coin category with a couple Capricorn planets to balance it out. So Reddcoin is interesting because it's got a Sagittarius moon, it's a Sagittarius rise. So, I mean, you guys must notice that certain coins have certain national appeal in different countries, right? That goes without saying. Reddcoin feels very, and then you have the internationally, pretty much, internationally accepted by many countries, right? Not necessarily a favorite of just one. Reddcoin seems to have that international appeal, as all, most crypto do. But really, Reddcoin kind of like, I'm going to break through international barriers. So I don't know what that means in the crypto world, but it also has something special because of its Mercury. Again, Mercury is the messenger, and when we start dealing with blockchain, it becomes very important. It's very speedy. So Mercury in Aquarius is excellent for a crypto to have, because it's like, okay, we got a new paradigm. It's in a new delivery system. It's also an Aquarian sun. And that all happens in its second house of resources. So it's like, yeah, this is kind of a very cool coin. Saturn's been afflicting its natal sun, so it hasn't really been able to shine. Jupiter is going to come back over its Mercury, and that's going to be in October, a little bit in September and some of October. So we might be seeing and hearing more from Reddcoin as far as coming up the ranks. Does that make sense with what you guys know about it and see about it?
Reddcoin has been really quiet for a few years now, and this year it bumped up a little bit. The price go up a little bit, but it has been very quiet. It's a So Reddcoin, what I do is a social tipping coin, which means that if you publish an article and I like your article, I can tip you 5 cents. So I tip you. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to say Jupiter coming on the Mercury, and let me give you some dates around that. That's going to give it more recognition. It's going to give it more power. It's not power, just more bang for your buck. Let's use that term. The Jupiter on your Mercury Jupiter on the Mercury in its second house of money, so it's going to make some good gains. Which, you know, it being the coin, I want to say that there's probably more investors in the coin, right? But also, which would give it gains. So that's really strong. Second half of September, literally from the 15th on through October, and then gets a big bump at that Jupiter direct on the 18th, 19th of October. Okay, so keep your eye on Bitcoin during those cycles as well.
Yay! So, based on the chart, do you see that Reddcoin will be acquired by any major corporation? There has been a lot of rumor that Facebook, Google, or Twitter will either like acquire them. This rumor has been going on for like years.
I don't know. Next year, it's almost like it's coming into like a good cycle. Like I said, if something like that unfolds, let's say this fall, that's a good indicator. But then Reddcoin's going to run into some problems with a Saturn square Saturn. So if they don't like zippity doo-dah with this acquisition, they're going to miss their window. And if they got to kind of do this by April of 2022, or they may miss their window. Okay. You guys, I'm going to have to pop off. I've got to get out of the heat.
I understand. I appreciate you so much. I know you have been hanging in there with us, and with no air conditioning and people coming and going, and we just really appreciate you so much. And SL, thanks for all that you do for us and putting this all together, and all the research and time that you spend doing this as well. I appreciate you guys.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed talking to both of you. Hopefully we can do this again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for inviting me, Lisa and SL. And thank you for being guests on my podcast. Let's remind everybody to go on to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine and check out these amazing guests of mine. And if you are interested in having an astrology reading, hit me up at jilljardineastrology.com. I'm booking now into late August and into September, and the exciting time for the crypto.
Absolutely. And you guys can also go check out SL's Patreon. All of the links to all of this stuff, including a link to my Patreon, is in the description below. You guys can check all of that stuff out. I'm hitting the road for a happy hour show that I do, and we're teaching Crypto 101 classes. So our first class will be in Kansas City. My buddy Clint Westwood's joining me. So we'll be, that information is on his website, clintwestwood.net. And you guys can watch my show tomorrow to find out more information about that. But it's going to be good stuff. Right. So happy hour on Friday. And, and a crypto
good work. You'll be on the road more because like the general public really is now like hungry for information about crypto, as was evidenced by our Crypto 101 podcast being really
Good. Yeah, it's exciting to hear. And we really want to give them that hands-on experience. We were given some silver yesterday by Chris Marcus from Arcadia Economics. So we're going to be putting physical silver in people's hands that do not have physical silver. And we're going to be teaching people about crypto, putting Monarch wallets on their phones and having them exchange, sending them coins and tokens on their phones. So teaching them about crypto. So I'm super excited about it. So
very exciting.
Thank you guys. Looking forward to this crypto bull market with you guys. Everybody keep that vibration high and stay tuned in with each other. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you.